It looks as though Ben Shapiro, the heavyweight of the intellectual dark web, the conservative thought leader, might have finally met his match. And it's a child.
Government is what takes all of your money and gives you very little in return.
That is not true.
Okay, that's it's kind of true. It depends on the kind of government.
That's what taxes are for.
Yeah, that is what taxes are for, but taxes are theft.
Taxes are theft. Ben Shapiro destroyed by facts and logic. By a third grader. All right, so look, I got questions about this. That's fun and all, but like, all right, why is Ben Shapiro in a classroom pushing anti-government propaganda on kids? Now, again, he's not there to teach people about the government, right? No, you clearly see, and I'm going to show you more video of it, you can clearly see that there's bias here. I mean, again, he's in a classroom saying taxes are theft, taxes are stealing, and by the way, is part of the side that loves to criticize the left for so-called indoctrination of children. What the heck? That's not education. That is a biased opinion. Now, look, Ben Shapiro is more than allowed to have that opinion. I believe it's wrong, but he can have an opinion, and he can share his opinion. But what he's doing in that classroom is trying to pass off that opinion as fact. That's not actual education. That is, again, trying to propagandize to children. Now, there's more.
Taxes are, the government takes a part of the money that you spend, or the money that you earn, or the property value of your house.
And they spend it on useless stuff. What about debt?
Mostly, yes. I mean, they're supposed to spend it on things like the police. They're not supposed to spend it on just random projects or silly things that they have in their head, and they tend to spend it on kind of silly things very often. But as you get older, you will realize how little you like taxes.
Yeah, he's way off base about that.
I come from a state called California,
Oh, I
where
like that.
monsters roam the streets and garbage is strewn everywhere. I think that Biden kind of makes up the rules as he goes. I don't think, unfortunately, he cares very much about the rules for being president. I think he just tries to do whatever he can do. Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia is my current favorite Democrat. He's preventing Joe Biden from doing a lot of bad things. So, guys, you just learned more than you will in all of college about how the government works.
No, yeah, they've learned the wrong things. Like the complete opposite of reality. What? No, you're, and he's doing this in the classroom. And by the way, he's like, yeah, taxes, taxes are theft, but they're also supposed to pay for police, which we need more of. We need more police, because California is a garbage-strewn hellscape where the monsters roam the streets. Garbage is thrown everywhere. Yeah, it's horror. It's horror. And also, Biden does whatever he wants. Total propaganda. Total propaganda. So look, let me make a point here about California, right? And police. You know that California and San Francisco alone, they actually spend about 9% of the city budget on police. But it turns out to be the 7th largest police budget in the country. You know how much they spend? Over $700 million. That's a year, the annual budget. All right, so now in total, policing across the country costs about $115 billion a year. So guess what? We are actually spending a lot of money, a lot of tax money on police. But no, according to Ben Shapiro, no. We only spend tax money on silly things. We should completely abolish taxes. Yes. Well, okay, what silly things are we spending things on, Ben Shapiro? Roads and bridges? I mean, those are kind of important, right? For example, that bridge that went out in Pennsylvania, it happened last week. That was a disaster, right? Well, turns out that might not have happened had the fuel tax that was designed to make sure to fix up the roads and bridges in Pennsylvania. About 3,000 of those, by the way, were estimated to have been structurally deficient. So they did this gas tax, right? And this is back in 2019, a bunch of articles came out. And they noted that about $4 billion in funding over 6 years, over a 6-year period, from the gas tax had went not to the roads, not to the bridges to fix them. No, it actually went to the state police. Wow. Yeah. Oh, your silly bridge projects. No, we need more cops. We need more cops. Really? Really? So again, what is it important for things like that we need for society, Ben? Or is it just what? Or is it theft? Or is it just theft? I mean, come on. Look, and one thing, of course, that I think we've all noticed here is that Ben Shapiro only goes after people that he believes is fairly weak, right? For example, propagandizing to children. But this is something that PragerU has done a lot in recent days as well, creating an entire propaganda channel to teach conservative values to children. And so, yeah, there's I think it's PragerU Kids or something like that. And now this is videos like from Conserva-Kids or something. And so they, you know, again, they say, oh, well, it's a left that's indoctrinating the children. When in reality, you've got videos like this that exist. And where you have very, very clear cases of conservatives coming into schools, conservative speakers, and teaching them propaganda. But anyway, as I mentioned, those are the only people that he really talks to. Children, college students, you know, people that are on the street. And that's where, of course, he got famous for doing, oh, college kid destroyed and owned with facts and logic online. No, he very rarely, and there are instances where he has, but it's very rare that he goes up to somebody who will actually counter him. And when he does, again, look up the debate between him and Anna Kasparian, where Anna handed him his ass. Owned him with facts and logic. And by the way, you watch some of those debates, and yes, oftentimes he backpedals, or you know, he concedes certain points, but also ends up just looking ridiculous. And it's not because Ben Shapiro is a stupid person. No, I think Ben Shapiro is a very intelligent person, actually. But it's because he's paid to defend stupid ideas. And there's a reason. There's a reason for that. He's paid very handsomely because it keeps some very rich people from being able to have to pay any more taxes into the system. That's why he says taxes are stealing. Taxes are stealing. Well, it steals from their, you know, from his bosses, from his donors. Now, let's give him one thing though that he did say that was that he's got a point. We don't get a lot from the government as a result of what we pay in. No, that's not because, well, that's actually because Republicans and corporate Democrats take a lot of money from corporations and then don't use it to make regular people's lives better. That's the reason that we don't have, for example, universal health care. So they do take it, and instead of, you know, doing it on what he says, silly projects, right? In reality, what we're doing is basically making skeletons in the Middle East and in Africa and all over the world with our war machine. That's what we're doing with our tax money. Now, the solution isn't to eliminate taxes. The solution is to actually use the tax money to help the regular American people. You know, regular human beings. Healthcare, Medicare for all. And actually doing something, I don't know, that helps the environment. Be real nice. Be real nice. But as I said, you know, Ben Shapiro defending some very, very powerful people. Now, one more thing here, one last thing, and this is the kid who spoke up. Here's what he said. I've seen my mom look at him on Facebook. He said he was a very smart guy. Asked by the producer if he agreed with that assertion, the boy said, well, now that I've met him, maybe. Maybe. Nice kid. Seems like a nice kid. Seems pretty respectful. And I'm pretty sure he wasn't buying at all what Ben Shapiro was selling.